Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of Preferred Selection playing Terraria. I think I've done a slightly different intro like every single time I've done an episode of this. That's okay. That's fine. Alright, so while we were gone, last time I built a little bit of a second house, or fourth house, I guess, depending on how you want to do your house math. A little thing I'll point out for people who might not know, you don't have to have a door for like every house in Terraria. You just have to have an entrance, and that can be a wooden platform. So this is should be two valid houses, and you can check that by clicking on them with the valid housing key. They're fine, as you can see by the corner. So before we set off, I did get a little bit more silt, which means... Did I just put it away? Oh no. Which means I have more silver now. And I can use that extra silver. Wow. All of a sudden, now that I'm recording, there's like a million like sirens and honking and stuff outside. I don't know why. I live in the city, so that's not too weird. Okay, so we have some silver. We're going to go make a silver bar. And we're going to go... Is it a crafting table? I'm trying to remember the correct... Yep. So we can turn 70 musket bullets into silver bullets. And now we have some slightly better ammo for if we take on something really strong. We can have some silver bullets as backup. We are going to talk to this guy, and we're going to sell some flare guns. We're going to sell some flares. I never use those, and that was one of the things I wanted to do. The other thing I wanted to do is I have glowing mushrooms and I have lesser healing potions. I have a bottle sitting on my crafting table now. You just place your bottle on the crafting table. I did that off camera while I was getting ready to record. And now I can take 2 lesser healing potions and a glowing mushroom and make much, much better potions than we had. Where did those come from? I'm not sure where I'm supposed to put these mushrooms back. This looks as likely a spot as any. And we'll put some gold away. Yeah, we could totally... If I was like really seriously playing this game right now, I would build the mini shark. I would go buy the mini shark right now and just coast. But I kind of want to... I'm almost trying to force myself to use the traveling merchant when he comes. The guy I was talking about earlier. I kind of want to wait for him to show up and use one of his weapons. Maybe I'll buy the katana from him. He sells this sword for 2 gold. That seems like a terrible sword for like as long as it takes a really long time to get him to show up the first couple times, and there's no guarantee that he'll have any of his stuff. And I was using an off-camera character, and I was so excited to like mess around with him a little bit. And I had him show up, and I looked at all of his stuff, and just because I was like a few hours into the character that I was using, I was already way past it. Like just going down to the jungle and getting a couple things. I mean, I wasn't way past it, but it was like I could use my loadout that I have, or I could buy your stuff. And yeah, like most of it was just not. The traveling merchant could have been really cool. And I think he still is really cool because there's a few things he has that are really nice, but for the most part, I haven't been impressed. One of the things he sells that seems pretty cool is... Could we go exploring down here? Do you guys just want to have like we just fought a bunch of bosses. Do you guys want to have like an exploring episode? Sounds good to me. What was I saying? Ooh, heart. I'm glad we explored. Oh, not there we go. So now that we have 300 health, I believe we're exposing ourselves to the possibility of goblin invasions, but that's fine. What are you? Iron. Iron is actually like weirdly good throughout like hard mode. I mean, not the armor, but there's uses for it. You can use it for like boss summons, I think, and other goofy stuff. Oh, but I was talking about the traveling merchant. So the traveling merchant, he sells like a weird variety of stuff, and some of it is actually very cool, but most of it's not going to be of use to anyone really. Although I don't know why I just said that. That's hyperbole. That's extreme hyperbole. He sells some really cool. He sells one really cool tool that it increases block placement and I think reach. And that's like one of those things that as soon as you get it, it goes on your secondary item slot and is just like amazing for if you're like building or whatever. But yeah, I was initially a little bit. I was like excited about him, and then I was a little disappointed when I saw that he rarely had anything that was too cool. But I actually think he's gonna save my off-camera character now, because I've got a few off-camera characters. I have one that's like about where this guy is, right where the Let's Play character is, that I use for multiplayer with like just goofing around with friends who are new to the game and started the game with me, or started the game when I started that character. And I have another character who is working on like soloing Frost Moons and is at the very end of the game. So that's my main character. My main character is on the moons, which at this point of this recording are the hardest things you can do. Then I have a second character I've been working on, where I've been kind of replaying through the game again for fun. I don't know why else. I mean, obviously every time has been for fun, but replaying through the game with similar purpose to this character, actually, of trying to use things that I wouldn't normally use and don't think of as maybe the very best things. And that character is a little bit stuck right now, because that character is like waiting for. It's probably ready to fight the Destroyer, which is the easiest of the hard mode bosses. But I haven't had the Destroyer naturally show up except for once, and then I wasn't ready at all. So I'm waiting for the Destroyer to show up with that character so that I can get another chance at it. But my DPS is terrible. Like, I can't do hardly any damage with my character. Like, I've got kind of a bunch of second-rate items on purpose, and I fought against the twins, which is if you haven't fought them recently, they became really hard in 1.2.3, and I was fighting them. They showed up naturally, and my character had titanium armor, which is really good, and it had an okay weapon loadout that I won't really get into right now. To give you an example, like the Mithril Repeater. Yeah, I mean that's like stuff that was probably one of my worst weapons that I was using is in like my main loadout. But everything was kind of like, there was nothing that was like super exciting. So I was using that character, and the twins showed up, and I kited it around the entire night. I fought it for 9 minutes, and I just barely survived. But I couldn't kill the twins. I got one of them down to almost dead, and the other one I kind of left alone a little bit. I think I hurt it a tiny bit, which is the strategy for fighting the twins, by the way. They get really powerful at half health, so you don't want to do more damage to. You don't want to fight them evenly. You want to take out one and then another. But yeah, like my DPS was terrible, and I I didn't really stand a chance against them. I was kind of screwed. Ooh, here's a bunch of minerals. So back to the game. What was my? Oh yeah, my point was, since my damage is so terrible on that character, there is actually an item that the merchant sells that could save me, and that's it's like a Gatling gun, and it's really similar to the Mega Shark, only it's worse. And I think it's like you don't so the Mega Shark is a very powerful weapon that I would need hard mode boss souls to get. And it's kind of a catch-22. Like, I need hard mode bosses to get it, but it's one of the few weapons powerful enough to like fight hard mode bosses. So you can see like where the problem lies. I might manage to fight the destroyer on my own. I might lose. So yeah, the Mega Shark, I might not, it might take me, it might be really hard to get right now. Not impossible, because I know I could beat the destroyer eventually, but it could be a really hard weapon to get. And in the meantime, I could buy this thing from the traveling merchant that's like a Gatling gun that's only a tiny bit worse, and that could probably just tear through the destroyer. And then I might be able to tear through all the the twins as well with it. Definitely Skeletron Prime I could take down with it. So there could be a lot to be said for using the traveling merchant for some things. But I was really excited I was really hoping that the traveling merchant would be useful to like an extreme degree. Like, I was hoping that there'd be like a crazy thing you could do. Like, Terraria seems to really resist sequence breaking too much. Like, they don't give you like a million ways to cheat the game, which I guess is fine, but it's, I want powerful things. I like powerful things. Like, an example of, like, it seems like a lot of things that are too good in Terraria, they patch out to make them grindier. Like, here's how I got through hard mode the first time on my first character. There was this item, there was this how should I say this? There was a mini boss called the Frost Giant that you could fight that was really powerful. And if you fought him, he would drop a random piece of this armor set called Frost Armor, and Frost Armor was really cool. If an enemy attacked you, they would like be on fire, and they'd be on like frozen fire or whatever, and it was great. Like, you could just make your lives hell for your enemies by setting them on frozen fire and all that. And the defense was great, so you're not taking too much damage. And so what you would do on hard mode is you would skip like all the hard mode armors, because this was better than adamantite, arguably better than titanium, definitely better than orichalcum and mithril, especially for like kind of like well-rounded characters that aren't focused on a class. Which you can be all the way up until the end of the game, despite what people say. But yeah, this Frost Armor was insanely good, and it used to be probably too easy to get. But what they should have done is maybe make that boss a little bit harder, or make it drop Frost Armor less often so that you'd have to kill it like 20 times to get that armor. I don't know. They should have done something kind of like to make it equally hard as getting like titanium armor. What they did instead was they changed the drop that the Frost Giant drops to be a Frost Core, it's called. And the Frost Core is now used with hollowed bars to make the hollowed armor. And as good as the Frost Armor is, I don't think the Frost Armor is a endgame armor, whereas hollowed is Hollowed is arguably, depending on your build, it could be the best. It could be the armor that you fight the moons with. It could be the very best armor you get to, and it takes almost as much hollowed bar to make the frost armor with the frost scores as it does to make hollowed armor. So now they've like put frost armor in kind of a novelty slot, which is really sad because it was really cool. So yeah, it's just like useless now. Like, I mean, it's not useless, but it's a toy. Like why would you bother with frost armor after you already have the essentially almost enough hollowed bars to make hollowed armor? Like, and what it means is it means that you cannot use it to fight the hard mode bosses, because the hard mode bosses will be they drop the hollowed bars. So I don't know. I feel like they essentially took frost armor out of the game, which is kind of sad. The only way you can really use it now is if you want to like hinder yourself, and it used to be like a really cool thing that would kind of have an appropriate spot in the game. Like, that's the thing. When I got it, I felt like I stood a chance. Like, I didn't feel like I was suddenly Terraria. Like, I didn't feel like I was sequence breaking. I felt like I was playing an appropriately difficult game. So, man, we just got a ton of gold. What happened? I guess we got a lot of gold when we did that silt. I'll have to watch the video to find out what happened in my own play. But yeah, like you guys get where I'm coming from. Like, Terraria gets really hard at certain points, and what is this? More silver? Yeah, great. We got silver. The frost armor was like one of my favorite armors. It also looks really cool. It kind of looks like what we're wearing, only blue. So I'm really sad to see that it's kind of useless now. Maybe it is actually an okay armor for the end of the game, and I just don't know about it. But that would surprise me a little bit. Okay, so I think I want to make more silver bullets, which means go over here. I don't think I really need to show off the silver bullets, because I mean they're obviously like slightly more powerful versions of the bullets we have. So just imagine our bullets doing 2 more damage. And now that we have 280, I'm gonna put them in front of our musket shot. You know, now that I wasn't sure when I was going to do this, but I think we have to. It's so worth it. We have 80 gold. It would not make sense to not buy the mini shark. It's going to use a lot of ammo, but it is in fact, it's going to use so much that I'm going to move the muskets back to the top. It's going to be the appropriate gun for Skeletron and the Wall of Flush. Oh, we didn't get a modifier. That's kind of unfortunate. That's okay. Yeah, so it does half the damage of our boomstick, but notice that our boomstick says very slow, and this says insanely fast. Insanely fast is nuts. Like I almost don't want to demonstrate it right now, unless we have an enemy to shoot at, because it's gonna tear through ammo. So let's go find something to fight. Like, it doesn't matter what we go find to fight. We'll just go fight anything. Go fight sharks, maybe. And sharks have a lot of health. Maybe I'll just... How far are we from sharks? Whoa. We'll go fight something. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe we'll fight something in the Crimson. La-di-da-di-da. But yeah, this is going to be the gun that makes us really powerful for a while. Ooh, there's a... Have I been to that Sky Island? I feel like I might... Now this is where so these wings that I got earlier. This is kind of a cheesy. Yeah, see how. Whoa, we fell. This is kind of a cheesy use for the wings. Like I probably shouldn't be using them to reach a sky island that I wouldn't have found otherwise at this point in the game. But I don't care that much. And the reason I don't care very much is because we're actually nearing the point where sky islands are even going to be good for us, because they have okay stuff, but they're like slightly pre-dungeon. Spiked horseshoe is cool. It negates fall damage, but we already negate fall damage because I'm cheating and have wings. So that's kind of the rub-in, is we found something that's useless because I already have wings. And if people are wondering, I say every now and then in these videos, oh, I'm cheating, I have wings already. I'm not literally cheating. I didn't use an inventory editor. I made these wings on a like my main character, and then I brought them over for the Let's Play. And the reason I brought them over was just to try doing something a little bit different from the other Let's Plays that I've seen. Because I've seen a lot of Let's Plays where the start of the game in Terraria is very slow because they lack, what's the word? They're using like ropes and stuff to like get out of caves, and they're waiting for, you know, it's one way to do it. It's probably the purest way to do it, but I felt like bringing wings over and making life a little easier for me. I'm trying to remember if the horseshoe, if we use it for something good that is still useful despite. This is what space looks like, by the way. I don't think we need the horseshoe for anything at this point. I'm surprised we didn't fight any harpies while we were up there. Harpies aren't really anything that we like need to be messing with right now, but they're kind of cool. They're like an appropriately hard enemy that would give us some trouble. I guess I could have stayed up there and waited for them to show up. Also, by the way, it's unusual for a sky island to be that low. Well, like with the shoes that we have right now. What shoes do we have? We have Floria boots. Yeah, we shouldn't be able to like just jump into the air and see sky islands. I'm kind of surprised. Like, I know in a small world things can get really wonky, but I'm kind of surprised we could see that. Here's our dungeon, where we got our blue candle earlier. One of the things that the 1.2.3 update did is it messed up some maps. So there might be some areas that I think this map is fine, but there might be some areas that we've been to that aren't correctly revealed, which is no big deal. I don't think it actually affected us because I think that I didn't open this world on this character. So it didn't matter. But yeah, let's go shoot some sharks with our mini shark, because we will need shark fins as one of the ingredients for. Alright, makes a little bit of light. Is there anything down here? There's a crab. Fight the crab a little bit. Gonna run out of breath. Ooh, that's... Alright, so we want to kill this guy. Squids are cool because we're going to drown. That's what makes them cool, is that we're going to drown. No, we'll be fine. Squids are cool because they drop black ink, which means black dye. And it's probably... It's not like super hard to come by, but it's one of the rarer dyes. Jellyfish could give us jellyfish necklace, which would give us some light in the water. At some point I'm going to need to come down to the ocean and farm for a diving helmet. It's a rare drop from sharks. I might do that off camera because it'll be like an hour of me just like killing sharks. So I might do that off camera, but I don't think I need to do it yet anyway. Alright, so we got a good gun. We have some of the best armor in the game. I think we're at the point where we're ready to just go like fight Skeletron. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do next. So I'm gonna pause it, and I might come back for another episode right away. I might come back for one a little bit later, but I'll definitely see you next time.